Courtroom 4 of the Metropolitan Justice Center crackled with tension. The stale air barely moved as ceiling fans spun lazily above a sea of restless eyes. Journalists, legal aides, officers, everyone was waiting, watching, calculating. At the center sat Judge Eleanor Vance, a woman whose silence held more weight than most men's fury. Eleanor's reputation preceded her, 30 years on the bench, a fierce enforcer of civil rights, especially against abuses by law enforcement. Her icy stare alone had caused senior detectives to fumble testimonies. Today, however, even she seemed weighed down. The file before her was thick, but the truth, as always, was hidden between the lines. The case? Marcus Thorne, 17, honor student, no record. Arrested walking home from tutoring. No warrant, no reason. Slammed to the ground, cuffed, and left in holding for 7 hours with no lawyer, no phone call. The officer who did it? Detective Rex Harding, a name whispered in complaints but never punished. Protected by red tape and silent alliances. The courtroom door opened, and Rex entered. Immaculate. Uniform crisp, badge gleaming. He didn't flinch. He didn't need to. Eleanor's voice sliced the stillness. Detective Harding, were you present on April 4th? Yes, he answered flatly. I responded to suspicious behavior. Suspicious, Eleanor repeated, almost tasting the word. The young man was walking home with a backpack and headphones. He resisted, Rex said, unmoved. Standard containment protocol. She raised her eyes. The report you filed mentioned a concealed weapon. That detail was added after the arrest, wasn't it? Rex hesitated, barely. Recollection added clarity. And yet, Eleanor leaned forward. Video footage shows no such item. Nor does the search log. Only bruises. And silence. The courtroom was utterly still. Marcus sat beside his lawyer, lips pressed tight. His mother, in the gallery, gripped a tissue so hard her knuckles turned white. Eleanor closed the file with a soft snap. Detective, you weren't afraid. You were entitled. And that entitlement has no place in my courtroom. The room exhaled, collectively, just as Rex's expression hardened. He shifted on the stand, jaw twitching. Due to inconsistencies in the report, altered evidence, and excessive force, I am recommending a full criminal investigation into this officer's conduct. A few gasps. One camera flash. Eleanor's pen slid across the page like thunder. Then Rex stood. I have something to say, he barked. You will sit down, the bailiff warned, but Rex had already left the stand, eyes locked on Eleanor. Detective, you are out of line, Eleanor said. And then, it happened that a sharp, unnatural crack split the air. A streak of violet light arced through the room, a concealed stun device, and struck Eleanor directly in the chest. Her body convulsed violently. Papers scattered as she collapsed behind the bench, twitching. Her head hit the floor with a sickening thud. Screams, chaos, people surged, then froze. Guards hesitated. One officer reached for his weapon, then stopped himself, uncertain, afraid. The line between law and loyalty had just been shattered. Rex stood there, breathing heavily, unshaken. Not a man who'd lost control, but one who'd followed through. Julian Reed, attorney for Marcus, stormed into the chaos. Seal the courtroom. Get medics now. Nobody leaves, not a soul. Eleanor lay motionless, her fingers twitching faintly. A woman rushed forward with a med kit, only to be blocked by a uniformed guard. Stand back, he barked. She's dying, she yelled. But the room was already fractured, split between sides, those protecting the badge and those watching it burn. Paramedics arrived in minutes. Eleanor was loaded onto a stretcher, eyes glassy, mouth slack. Rex was taken into custody. No cuffs, no resistance. Julian's face was stoned in the corner, unnoticed by most. A young woman with sharp eyes and a press badge slipped out the rear door. Her name, Mia Carter T. Dawn, in her one-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. Mia sat staring at her screen. An email had arrived. Subject line, Trial Day 4, full version. No sender, just a download link and a whisper of truth. The video loaded slowly. Mia leaned forward. It showed everything. Not just the attack, but before it, Rex exchanging a look with another officer. A nod, a small handshake concealed behind a clipboard. A signal. She watched the video again. Then a third time. It was premeditated, coordinated, and someone inside wanted her to see it. She saved the file to 3 different locations, one on a hidden server. Then she began drafting the headline, "A Silent Execution in the House of Justice." But a question burned in her mind. Who sent it and why her? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. You saw it. A low voice whispered that Mia's breath caught. Who is this? Watch your back, the voice warned. They don't just silence judges. The line went dead. She stared at the phone. Then her laptop camera blinked on, by itself. That a knock came at the door. Slow, rhythmic, not a neighbor's knock. Mia didn't breathe. She reached for the external drive, still warm. Then the lights flickered, and the knock came again. That afternoon, Mia noticed a gray sedan idling across the street from her apartment. Hours later, another vehicle appeared, engine running, windows dark. Then came the email. This isn't your concern. Her heart pounded. Curtains drawn. She activated her tracking program. The source of the courtroom video traced back to a device parked near the judicial staff entrance. Someone inside was watching and warning her to stop. Instead, Mia reached out to Julian Reed. They met in a quiet, barely lit cafe, where she showed him the full video. Julian's jaw tightened. If we leak this now, it might backfire. They'll call it tampering. I've encrypted it, Mia replied. If anything happens to me, it goes public. Everywhere. Outside, the city stirred. Hashtag Justice for Eleanor was everywhere. Cropped videos went viral. Independent lawyers demanded investigations. Forensic analysts confirmed the video's authenticity, but officials responded with silence. The police offered a vague statement. Rex was suspended pending review, with no mention of the judge or the taser. In her hospital room, Eleanor Vance opened her eyes to the hum of machines. Her first words, "Did the trial end?" Julian played the video. She didn't flinch. When it ended, she asked for a pen. In crisp blue ink, she wrote, "We live in a system that silences when it airs and shouts when exposed. I want no apologies. I want them to tremble like I did." Meanwhile, Mia and Julian discovered an internal memo signed by Gideon Thorne, a powerful security coordinator. It read, "Maintain procedural control at all costs." Thorne had orchestrated disruptions for years. Rex was his tool. Then, Officer Anton Willis, who had been with Rex that day, broke his silence. At a surprise press conference, his voice cracked as he admitted, "I was told to support the narrative, not the truth. I watched Judge Eleanor collapse. I knew. I helped cover it." He released a suppressed report and called for a federal inquiry. That same night, Mia uncovered another video. Rex receiving a nod from Harold Vance, Eleanor's own assistant. A discreet signal, a betrayal. She aired the video during a live national broadcast. The footage, silent but undeniable, shook the country. By dawn, Harold Vance was arrested. Federal prosecutors reopened the case. Eleanor returned to court. Pale, slower, but unshaken. She took the stand and faced Rex, now in a gray prison jumpsuit. No arrogance, just emptiness. The prosecution presented everything: videos, memos, testimonies. Each piece stripped away layers of silence that Rex's lawyer didn't argue innocence. He only asked for mercy. When it was time, Eleanor stood. Her voice was soft, yet it silenced the room. "Rex Harding, you are sentenced to 15 years without parole for assault, obstruction, and conspiracy under unlawful orders." She paused, then added, "And I formally request an investigation into institutional cover-ups over the last decade." As Rex was led away, his shoulders sagged. There was no resistance, just surrender. Outside, a crowd had gathered. No chants, no signs, just people standing, waiting. Eleanor stepped up to the podium. "Justice is not a seat," she said. "It's a decision we make every time we're asked to kneel and choose to stand instead." A man stood, then a woman, then rows of citizens standing in silence, in unity. That a small girl walked up to Eleanor with a wilted white flower. Eleanor knelt, accepting it with a nod. No tears, no words, just shared strength. She stood again, holding the flower in one hand, and walked forward, not as a symbol, but as a survivor who had turned the system inside out.